Yo, what's going on, people? It's Spencer here, and we're back for another DTC Draft League video. This time I'll be going over the highlights of Week 1. So we've had a ton of intense and close games, some surprise upsets, and all-around high-level play. So we'll go through the scoreboard and kill leaders, we'll discuss the biggest blunder and the best play of the week, and then we'll go into our feature battle. So let's go ahead and get started with the weekly standings. So starting off with the Tennessee Tyrantars versus the DC Duraludons, Tyrantars able to pick up a 2-0. The Destin Lucarios take a 5-0 against the Dutch Drampas, while the Sao Paulo Dragonites take an 0-3 loss versus the Philadelphia Fanfees. These Los Angeles Spark Servers take a 2-0 against the Den Haag Dalramacos. And while we go to the Sun Division, the San Francisco 49 Tails take a 5-0 against the Pittsburgh Poltergeists. The Memphis Snarls take a 3-0 against the NorCal Electivires, while the London Lux Rays take a 2-0 against the Dallas Star Raptors. And then lastly, we have a surprise upset with the Ottawa Garchomps taking a 6-0 against the Big Fat Groudons. So that will be the weekly standings, and then let's go into the kill leaders for the week. We'll start off with number 5 here, which obviously a lot of close ties with Ho-Oh, Golem, Mega Houndoom, Garchomp, and Umbreon being the kind of runner-ups. So starting with the Genesect here. Going into the replay, it's against QJRT and Eater Rufus. So Rufus here kind of falls prey to a few different stats effects through Paralysis, Burn, through the kind of combination of Glare from Sandaconda and then Will-O-Wisp from Talonflame. Very good use of the pivoting, and Rox is able to get a large amount of chip damage on Rufus's Pokemon. And then Genesect and Sandaconda are ultimately able to take out 2 kills each, although Dragapult does come back in the late game with a Phantom Force. Ultimately, it's not going to matter since Clefable is going to have a huge amount of physical defense to take those hits. So good attempt by Rufus, but ultimately that chip and hazards really kind of saves the day for QJRT. So looking at the number 4 here, it's going to be actually Marshadow and Funyun versus Ace Trainer. So this match is really crucial since Porygon 2 is able to have a magic coat that's able to bounce back the webs. Really sets up some opportunities to get some early kills on Funyun's side. A large amount of recoil and revenge killing is going to take out the Slay King early on Funyun's side, and ultimately having Gliscor as a defensive pivot is able to wall back any potential attempts to come back, and the combination of Victini and Marshadow really kind of saves the day here and gives Funyun the win. So looking at the number 3, it's actually a 3-way tie with 4 O's. So first we'll start with Raven here, Destin Moon versus Dutch Drampas. Basically able to get a lot of early game pivots in there, defensive checks such as Lantern and Tangela, which are able to wall the combination of both special and physical sweepers. But really the star of the show here is going to be Type Null. Type Null is really able to take in a huge amount of the hits and then secure a few KOs here with just a strong stab return. So really crucial on his part to kind of block out all the special hits, get a lot of toxic damage with that Rest Hawk set, and then ultimately, wear out the Rain offense team. So good on Raven's part to do that. And then the next team we have is actually going to be with the Los Angeles Spark Servers, with Pokemaster Mike and Landorus-T. So that matchup there really depends a lot more on the fact that the early game Scarf is revealed. But despite that, Mike just has such a strong defensive core with things like Venusaur and Suicune, able to wear down one of his key stall breakers on Cool Kicker's team, which is the Yveltal, of course. And really just able to wear down through Toxic, chip damage. Having the Toxic on the Landorus-T, which is revealed later, is really crucial for Mike's team. And then ultimately just able to pressure it down through a combination of Metagross, Landorus-T, and then later on Alcafa Grigris. So well played on Mike's part, gets the 4-0 there, so tied for first place. And then looking at the number 1 slot, we actually have Mega Salamence topping off here. So of course that is my matchup versus Bailey. Bailey really has some initial difficulty with the double switches going on, although I kind of make the costly mistake here of Mega Evolving too early, which prevents me from getting the Regenerator. He later reveals that the Salamence is in fact a Mixments, and that variant really takes out a huge amount out of my Slowbro, with the gradual chipping down of things like Thundurus, Como, and Weezing ultimately paves the way later for a 4-0 victory for the Salamence. So well done on Bailey's part. Those are the kill leaders of the week here. Then we'll go ahead and go into what I think is the biggest biggest blunder of the week, which would be the matchup in Sam versus Saber. Really good pivoting, I think, here, and some initially strong predicts by Sam and Saber as well. However, I think on turn actually 25, Sam makes a mistake here of leading in the Rotom against the Megalopody, which unfortunately takes a huge amount of damage. While it does get the burn, the fact that Umbreon is still alive ultimately allows the heal bell to go off and kind of mitigates the role that Rotom was supposed to play as that kind of physically defensive check. And then a few well-played foul plays here on Umbreon's part are able to take things out like the Hoopa Unbound and a few other bonds. Strong pivoting on Saber's part kind of gives him back the momentum. Toxic chip damage is obviously going to wear down that team from Sam. And ultimately, Saber is able to take the 2-0 just because of the fact that the Rotom Heat wasn't preserved, as well as the lack of a Cleric once Magearna is down. So well played on Saber's part. Unfortunately, Sam does get the blunder of the week there. But we'll just go into the biggest upset of the week, which is actually going to be the battle of Pesky versus Ice. Obviously, the biggest threat on Ice's team is going to be that Zygarde with its potential to have a complete form. The Mesprit here wisely actually goes for an Ice Punch to scout the Yachi Berry, which it doesn't see. So he then proceeds to go for a knockoff to get those leftovers off. And then afterward, we see the Mega Houndoom come in, and of course with enough chip damage, a hidden Power Ice, which is very surprising, is able to take out that Zygarde and really kind of just upset that bulky offensive core that Ice was going for. So very well played on Ice's part, or rather Pesky's part. And a shrewd amount of pivoting, plus the Wish passing from things like Florges, are able to really wear down Ice's team and gradually pick up that 6-0 for Pesky. So huge upset, nice use of the hidden power Ice there to kind of surprise the Zygarde and ultimately win that game. So the big match we'll go into, of course, is the feature match of the week. That is the match that we think has just the most intense plays, biggest upsets, and overall kind of defines the pace of the week. So this, of course, is my match versus myself versus Bailey. I've discussed this before, so I'll kind of just briefly go over it again. Some good initial reads on my part. An early kind of mega kind of cost me the Regenerator pivoting. Had I kept the Regenerator, essentially, that would have given me enough HP to later on live the Hyper Voice from Mega Salamence, which we see coming here a bit later. Right here. So the fact that he had both the Roost for recovery and the Hyper Voice to kind of chip me away, and the fact that I had no really strong, especially defensive mons, kind of sealed the deal for my team. I am able to get off a few good chips here, such as the Will-O-Wisp on the Tyranitar, but things like the Arcanine make it really difficult to pivot around, even though I do get a crit. And then just strong offensive pairings, rather, with Tyranitar and Excadrill are able to kind of pressure my team, as well as not having a good Ghost check, given the fact that I didn't bring a Alolan Muck. So really well played on Bailey's part to kind of bait me out of the Slowbro by using a special set. And things like that, just kind of innovating with those sorts of sets, are really the kind of ways that you can kind of eke out a win in tough matchups like that. So, well played on Bailey's part. That's going to be it for the highlights, though. So, if you enjoy this format, guys, let me know. This will come to a close. If you want to see this content, be sure to like and subscribe. And, of course, let me know if you enjoy this style or not, or if you want to add or drop certain segments. Definitely be on the lookout for my Week 2 match coming up soon. And, of course, around the same time, we will be doing a Week 2 highlight. So continue to support the DTC Draft League, and I will see you all next time. Peace out.